I was part of the team that founded Virgin America. I joined when there was just a handful of us. We had no airplanes, no money, no license to fly, no nothing. And at the end, we created something that people genuinely loved.
As the global head of online for the Virgin Group, what was the biggest change you made to Virgin's digital strategy, and what were the results?
When I got to Virgin, they had gone through a tempestuous relationship with digital. In the noughties and early 90s, even that far back, they had tried to create, kind of a Yahoo type experience. And, that everybody was on that bandwagon, and then the dot-com crash and all that. And so they'd really gone back to just Virgin.com was just a directory of all of the other businesses. But what I knew and what everybody else knew was that Virgin and Richard Branson are brands that people wanted to interact with. They wanted to know more about. So we did a huge project where we completely redid Virgin.com as a destination, as a community site. We did a huge play in music. The brand was built on music, and we weren't talking about that at all. So, and it was a place for people to kind of come and talk to us and try and engage with Richard and learn about the brand and learn about all of the 300 businesses in the group at the time. And that really helped bridge the gap between what is a very diverse group of companies across the world, and tell the story and add a little bit more kind of flavor to the brand itself. So it went really well. And then this sort of sharing of ideas across the group and across the verticals. So it was a really fun part of my career. I look back on it very fondly.
And so you also managed Sir Richard Branson's personal digital strategy. What did you learn from this experience?
I learned that he was a Luddite, not a massive fan of technology. I have a unlimited respect and love for Richard Branson. He's just a top guy, but he is a very analog, or at least was a very analog guy. He has these stack of notebooks that follow him around everywhere that he's kept. They kind of chronicle the birth of every Virgin business, including the kind of the mother brand. But he likes to sit there and write things down, and it's a satisfying thing to do, so I can understand it. But again, like, he is a person that people want access to, and so we got him on Twitter, and it took a lot of persuasion, and we sort of had to sit there while he's not exactly the most sort of tech-centric guy. He's of that generation, as cool as he may be. But then when he realized there was an opportunity to reach a broader audience with messages that he thought were really important, especially around social entrepreneurship and philanthropy, he took to it very quickly, and is now, certainly from what I can see, a huge proponent of digital as a platform, an engine for change. So that's satisfying to see.
So what advice would you give to brands wanting to cut through the noise and stand out online?
It's been very difficult in the last 18 months with COVID, but I don't think that this idea has changed much. With COVID, we've had all of the platforms that we were used to doing business in, like shops and restaurants and bars and shopping malls and airplanes and hotels, et cetera, taken away from us almost overnight. And we've had to react very, very quickly to that. That has increased the amount of noise online exponentially. The kind of paradox here is that we've forgotten that behind every click and every call is a human being. And now more than ever, as we sit isolated in our flats and apartments, we want to be recognized as a human being. We're not this homogenous group of people. And I think the businesses that have reacted the best to this situation, and hopefully will continue to do this, are the ones that do what they say they're going to do. They don't try and talk their way through it, say we're all in this together, and in this unprecedented set of times, we're seeing unprecedented use of the word unprecedented. Just doing what we say we're going to do it consistently. Doing what we've always done is a hugely reassuring way of being in quite distressing and uncomfortable times. So if you have always done one thing and you've done it well, just continue to do it. Reach out to people that are clearly fans of what you do, engage with them on whatever platform that they engage with you on. Keep that conversation going on a one-on-one and one-to-many level. Don't kind of over-engineer the whole we're all in this together thing, because it's actually quite repellent. We found we got very, very tired of it very, very quickly. And so just, that opportunity to reinvigorate these one-on-one relationships, I think, is a huge differentiator in a time when we're all craving something different.
What is the secret to maintaining customer loyalty in the 21st century?
I think there's a couple of things. Like I said earlier, I think one of the most important things for loyalty is remembering that with every transaction that's happening, there's a human, and we need to acknowledge that and remember that they are individuals with individual preferences. Loyalty is an interesting one. Loyalty is a fundamentally emotional concept. You cannot have loyalty, true loyalty, to a brand, person, dog, whatever, without feeling something. It is physiologically impossible. The part of the brain that controls emotion and also controls action. And so, if we want somebody to do something, i.e. buy something else or come back into the store and have a conversation, click the buy button, sign the contract, we got to make them feel something. So I think understanding that it is a fundamentally human emotional idea completely changes the way not only we perceive the customer, but this whole idea. And to that end, making sure that we stop emphasizing transaction, trying to milk every penny out of every possible click and transaction. We're very good at that. We spent the last 20 years optimizing that. And instead, take a step back and look at the relationship we have, the provenance of the relationship with the customer, all of the data that relationship has generated, either from what the customer has told us or what we've learned about them from their behavior. Invest time, money, and energy in that relationship. And for every 10p we leave on the counter for giving away something that gets the customer coming back in the door, we'll get 10 pounds back over the life of the relationship, because we've understood the customer, we've predicted needs, we've even done something as basic as remember their name. It's so small, but it's so powerful. Instantly humanizes. We're no longer a commodity as a customer, and we feel recognized, remembered, and important. That it is indescribably powerful in building loyalty.
What is your proudest professional achievement?
That's easy. Virgin America. That was the airline in California in the US. I was part of the team that founded Virgin America. I joined when there was just a handful of us. We had no airplanes, no money, no license to fly, no nothing. And at the end, we created something that people genuinely loved. In fact, the mission of the airline was to create an airline people love, because at the time in America, airlines were almost universally loathed. And we thought, well, that's a reasonable challenge to rise to. Create an American airline that people love, as opposed to wanting to slam your hands on a car door over and over again. And we did it. And I was very proud of that project and my very small part in it. And I think, while the airline was acquired a few years ago, I think that the legacy of improvement that Virgin America had on the industry in America, and perhaps even beyond, as a whole, is indelible. And that's something I'm intensely proud of.